You know this video is about to get real. Lucid dreaming can be a pretty easy task once you figure out all the various tips and techniques that work for you. However, as human beings, we are constantly consumed by stress, and finding time and energy for lucid dreaming is no easy task. We all go to sleep at night, we're all given the same window of opportunity for dreaming, but many of us seem to struggle, even if we've been trying to lucid dream for a long time. I started learning how to lucid dream when I started college, and it was very slow going. My primary focus was on my work, and even though I did do reality checks and attempted to practice awareness, my heart wasn't really in it, because I didn't have the energy, to do it wholeheartedly. And the thing with lucid dreaming is, even if you do the practices, even if you do go to bed with the right intentions, if you don't feel it, then it's hard to achieve. And I understand that's a pretty vague statement and perhaps slightly hippie-ish, but you have to feel it. Like, don't do it, feel it. I wish I could elaborate more on that, but that's kind of a hard thing to describe. The stress of college meant that despite my interest in lucid dreaming and my desire to do it, I found it difficult. And the irony there is, lucid dreaming is a great way to combat stress. Once you manage to get lucid, you can sort out a lot of issues that might be plaguing your subconscious mind, and you can kind of filter through that and alleviate some of your daytime stress. But if you're too stressed during the day or too stressed during the night, then it's hard to get lucid, so a whole vicious circle thing going on. My camera died on me. If you choose to go down the route of dream-induced lucid dreaming, there's obviously a great deal of daytime practice, particularly in the beginning, and that isn't always an option if you are studying or working full-time. If you go down the route of wake-induced lucid dreaming, you may be put off by the fact that you kind of have to experiment with your sleep cycles to begin with, and in doing so you may end up losing out on sleep. Particularly for me, I know I didn't like doing that because I found a lot of the time that, get myself into focus, when I would wake up during the night, I would find it very difficult to go back to sleep. And obviously, if you need to be up early and you've got a long day ahead of you, that isn't practical. And when it came to the weekends, I just kind of wanted to go to sleep. I just kind of wanted to sleep in. I didn't really care about attempting a wake-induced lucid dream at that point. I was lucky in that I was studying something creative. I was studying video game design. And personally, I feel like creativity is something that can help with lucid dreaming. I guess I also sort of had, I was daydreaming a lot and visualising being in a dream quite a lot of the time. Trying to get ideas for games and artwork and things like that. And that kind of gave me motivation to kind of practice lucid dreaming and get lucid on a night. But I did give up a couple of times. I took a 6-month break. Why? Why now? No one ever messages me. I took a 6-month break at one point because I just needed to get my head down and do work, and because it didn't seem like I was really getting anywhere with lucid dreaming. There were just sort of like fleeting little moments of lucidity, and at that time it kind of felt like the work I was putting in it didn't really correlate with the results. The results just didn't seem to be worth it. I kind of struggle to get out of the house. I have my various issues, and my energy was focused on getting myself into college and doing my work. My college was in a different city. It took like 2 train journeys to get there. I was pretty exhausted throughout the day, and doing daytime practice just it didn't. I wasn't really into it. I'd do reality checks when I remembered to do reality checks, but it was kind of a, oh shit, okay, am I dreaming? Nah, I'm not dreaming. It was just like that. I wasn't really engaging with that question. I was just kind of going through the motions, not really doing the reality checks properly. And I wish I kind of had a simple way of combating this. I wish I had like an answer. I wish I could tell you something that would completely eradicate all of that stress and get you lucid tonight, but unfortunately I don't have that. And I'm kind of speaking from the point of view of school and college and university. Obviously, you know, if you're working or you have a family, maybe you just had a kid, those things as well are obviously stressful, but you know, I only really know college, so I'm only speaking from my experience. But yes, as I said, whilst I was in college, it was difficult. There was a lot of work that I had to do, and finding that motivation for lucid dreaming was just kind of hard. Especially, as I've already said, you know, it started out a bit, like, not good. That's bad grammar, I think. You know, like, it took a long time for me to first get lucid, and then it was very inconsistent, and to me it just felt like, why am I even bothering doing this? Because it's just not paying off. It's important, I think, to focus first and foremost on what you are studying. Obviously, you don't want to let your work become impaired because you're focusing so much on trying to get lucid and messing around with these sleep cycles and stuff like that. You know, that work comes first. But there are ways that you can kind of go around it. Naps. I know that Millen from Team Lucid Dream has been saying recently that with the amount of work he has to do at uni, the only time he really gets lucid these days is if he has naps during the day. And I do find that naps can be quite a good way of getting lucid. A lot of the time when I have a nap, I do get lucid. So if you are able to do that, it would be a good idea to focus on lucid dreaming during those periods. With stress in general, you know, you need to kind of learn how to relax, which isn't always an easy task. But stress is obviously going to get in the way of things, like it's going to get in the way of your sleep. And obviously if you're not sleeping properly, you're not dreaming properly. And, you know, combating any sleep problems first is, well, what you should do first. If possible, I think you should always take a bit of time before going to bed to get yourself properly relaxed and ready for bed. I know it's very easy to kind of stay on your phone or your computer up until the last minute and then go to bed, but you know, your brain is still very much active and buzzing, and that isn't going to help you get to sleep. I think spending maybe 30 minutes kind of preparing to go to bed, you know, get ready for bed, maybe sit on your bed, lay on your bed, and attempt to do a bit of meditation, maybe listening to like a meditation track to calm yourself, or even listening to ASMR videos. I know that's the thing that I've been doing a lot recently. I'm really into ASMR, and that helps me to just kind of like completely shut my mind off and get into a very relaxed state. And whilst I'm in that relaxed state, I will repeat certain mantras to myself, such as I will get lucid tonight, or I am lucid dreaming. You know, I kind of mix it up and find what works best for me. But if you spend a bit of time before bed setting that intention, then I think that could really help. If during the day you're struggling with reality checks or daytime awareness, you know, don't beat yourself up too much about it. I kind of think I almost feel like it's better to not do them than to force yourself to do them. Because when you force yourself to do something, you're creating a lot of tension and friction, and I feel like that puts like a negative connotation of lucid dreaming in your mind. Like if you kind of feel like, oh, I have to do a reality check now, you kind of, why are people messaging me now? God damn it. You know, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and that's counterproductive. Again, as I said, I was very fortunate that I was obviously doing something where lucid dreaming could help me in college. During our second year, we studied we studied animation for a bit, and the assignment was just to create an animation, and this was perfect because I thought, well, I've got like free reign to do whatever I want. I'm going to create an animation about lucid dreaming, and it wasn't great. I'd never animated before, but it went a little something like this. So in that instance, you know, I was obviously spending a lot of time working on that animation. I was spending time engaging my mind with lucid dreaming. It made things easier. Obviously, if you're doing something that isn't really that creative, or where you could use lucid dreaming, excuse me, it's going to be harder. You have to remember that lucid dreaming is a skill, like any other skill, and it takes time and it takes practice. And with any other skill, you know, the more time you put into it, the quicker you'll kind of pick things up and learn. The difference between lucid dreaming and other skills is you can't really show anyone your progression. You know, there's nothing physical or really tangible that you can show people or share with people. You know, if you learn a song on guitar, you play it for people, you get praised. You draw something, you share it online, you get praised. You don't have that with lucid dreaming. It's a skill that perhaps doesn't seem to have value or currency when it comes to other people. And that can be disheartening, and it can make you lose motivation. And that isn't to say, you know, when you learn a skill such as guitar or drawing, that you're doing it for other people, or you're doing it, you know, solely for recognition or approval. But being able to share those things and get feedback and so on, you know, is something that definitely encourages you to continue doing what you're doing. You know, no one has ever asked me, you know, how my dreaming is going, or if I'm any closer to any sort of personal goals with dreaming. Well, I mean, you know, other dreamers might, but as I've said before, I kind of feel like people are more interested in their own lucid dreaming journey than they are with other people's. But because, you know, you can't like show people your progression, I just kind of feel like people don't always take a massive interest in what you're doing. And that's another thing as well about progression with lucid dreaming is, you know, with other skills, you can see your progression. You know, if you're learning a song, you know, you obviously get better and better at it, and you learn more chords or whatever you're doing, and you're able to see that progression that you've made. And other people can see that progression, and, you know, it's very validating, and you want to continue doing it. With lucid dreaming, it's kind of harder to keep a track of progression. I mean, I guess your dream journal is where you track your progression, you know, as well as being a tool to help with dream recall and dream signs and so on. That is where your progress is stored. But again, lucid dreaming kind of comes and goes in cycles. Like, even for me, someone who's been doing it a long time and is good at it, if I do say so myself, you know, I can have like a solid month of like lucidity all the time, like whatever this is, and then maybe next month there's like virtually nothing, and then that's disheartening, and, you know, you start to doubt yourself. So I think that is something that's difficult with lucid dreaming as well, and I guess I'm maybe kind of going off on a bit of a tangent and not really sticking with the original purpose of this video, but I do kind of think that it ties in, because if you're studying and you've got a lot of stress and you don't necessarily have the time for other things, you may not realise how well you're doing with lucid dreaming, because, you know, you may pick up another hobby whilst you're studying, and as I said, you're kind of able to track your progress and see if you are improving. Whereas with lucid dreaming, I think it's maybe a bit harder, and it's kind of hard to know if you're doing it right, because a lot of people in the beginning kind of don't really know if they've had a lucid dream or not. Because for me, like, my first lucid dreams were kind of like this vague sense that I know that I'm dreaming, but but not quite. And for me, I didn't realise that was sort of like a semi-lucid dream. Again, because I guess another misconception with lucid dreaming is, you know, when you first have a lucid dream, it'll be this massive, vivid, like, again with the hand movements, like, amazing experience, and you'll have full awareness and you'll have full control, and that isn't really the case when you start out. Some people may get lucky and have that, but for the most part, I think a lot of us, when we start out, kind of have those moments of, something's not quite right, and that's like our first experiences with getting lucid. So, what am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is, don't give up. It's very easy to give up with lucid dreaming, and even though school comes first, it still is possible to do lucid dreaming while studying. It may take longer, it may require a little bit more effort, it may not be as frequent as you'd like it to be, but it is still very much possible. As I said, if you struggle to find time during the day, set aside a bit of time before going to bed. Maybe read through your dream journal, maybe read some lucid dreaming material. You've maybe watched some of my videos. Yeah. And just try and get yourself in the right mindset. Try and feel positive about lucid dreaming. Again, I think positivity goes a long way. You know, maybe just kind of set that intention in your mind to remember that you're dreaming the next time that you're dreaming, or, you know, whatever mantra you feel works best for you. If you want to go down the wild route, you know, you kind of have to find that sweet spot for you of the best time to wake up, and the best time of how long to stay awake before going back to bed. That was a very jumbled sentence. And you know, maybe you'll have to do that on your days off. If you're really serious about doing that, probably isn't wise to do it on a school night, because, you know, you might mess up your sleep, but it's up to you. In terms of reality checks, maybe have something written on your hand, like you could just put RC, or, you know, something like that, because I imagine, you know, when you're studying and you're working, your hands are always somewhere in front of you, aren't they? And you'll see it, and hopefully that will prompt you to do a reality check, rather than having to look out for dream signs during the day. You know, starting off with something like that might be the way to go. And, you know, if you're going to do a reality check, don't half-arse it. I know it's very easy to just not put the effort in, but just, you know, breathe, take a moment, have a quick scan of what's going on around you. You know, just be aware of all your senses. Do whichever reality check works best for you, whether you do the nose pinch, the finger through the palm. You know, just spend just a little bit of time doing that. And really, you know, it's kind of quality over quantity, I think. Even if you do a couple of good reality checks, to me that's better than doing loads and loads of half-arsed reality checks. So, I hope that video was of some help to you. I know that it's really difficult, like college, school, all of it is hard work. But, you know, don't give up. Seriously, don't give up. You can definitely get lucid. If you're struggling, you know, just know that a lot of us have been there. You know, a lot of people who are very good at lucid dreaming now have had their hurdles to get over. I struggled, but, you know, you can do it. You just have to find what's right for you. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Once again, I always appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos, because I know if I was you, I'd be very sick of my voice and my face by now. But you got this far through the video, and for that, you have my utmost respect. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I have been Max, aka TheRaRaRabbit, and I'll see you in the next video.